She stole our $28,000 wedding fund to fake a miscarriage after cheating with a stripper, then told the world I abused her. When I faced her in court, she screamed, "He made me feel so guilty about one little mistake that I..." Then the gavel fell. That was a month ago. Last night, she locked herself in the bathroom and cried so quietly I almost missed it. I discovered what really went down at my fiancé's bachelorette party. I don't think I can marry her anymore. My fiancée is the love of my life. She's my ideal woman, and I wouldn't change a thing about her. But recently, I had started feeling insecure about our relationship. I'm not proud to admit it, but I decided to snoop on her phone last night. While looking through her phone, I saw a notification go off. A message from her friends about the bachelorette party came in, so I started obsessing over it like a stalker from TV. I stayed up all night checking her computer and Facebook messages and discovered she had cheated during the party. By cheating, I don't mean getting a stripper or something, which I would be okay with. I understand it's a bachelorette party, but she actually gave a stripper some slop and ended up going home with another one that night. She has this other guy added on Facebook, but the chat merely consists of a message that says, "Had a good time," and it was nice. She has this other guy added on Facebook, but the chat merely consists of a message that says, "Had a good time," and it was nice to meet you. The date goes back to the night of the bachelorette party. They had a small group, and I found out what she'd done there. It all seems as if it was a one-time thing, but I'm a mess. I haven't slept all night, and she is headed for work in an hour. We were supposed to get married in 3 weeks. We were planning on buying a house together, having kids, and growing old. I feel like I want to throw all of that out the window. I'm sitting here smelling like liquor, feeling sloshed and depressed. When I was outside taking a smoke about 15 minutes after leaving, she had woken up. She noticed the drinks out and asked me what I'd been up to. She came to give me a kiss and a hug. I followed through with it, but honestly felt empty doing it. I didn't want to give her any hints of what I knew. She asked why I had been drinking and why I didn't come to sleep last night. I told her I was just having some nightmares, but everything was fine. I felt detached, like I was watching myself in the third person. She asked if any stress was related to the marriage plans, and I just told her, "I love you. How can you be stressed about the best thing in your life?" She got herself ready and left for work. I started packing my most important things. I called and canceled the venue where we were supposed to be having the wedding. They took 15% of the money for canceling early, but I really don't care at this point. I saved screenshots of everything and took them with me. Around 1 p.m., component placement. I called a taxi and went to stay at a hotel about 60 miles away from my city. I didn't leave any notes. I just left. I needed some alone time to process what had happened. At around 3:30 p.m., my phone started getting spammed with calls from my ex-fiancée. I started getting calls and messages from her sister, her friends, her parents, my parents, and our mutual friends. The only people I called back were my parents. I basically spilled the beans and told them a nicer version of what happened. I asked them not to say anything. I told them it's ended, it's over, and that I won't be getting married anymore. I didn't tell them exactly what happened, just that I found out she wasn't being loyal to me. Around 5 p.m., my dad called me back and told me my ex-fiancée was completely hysterical and had broken down, not understanding what was going on. I just told my dad not to intervene and that I needed some alone time. Her sister knew about what happened at the bachelorette party, and I have the texts to prove it. She even laughed about it and told her not to feel guilty because it was a bachelorette party and that women should just go all in on that night. I feel like Neo in The Matrix, dodging bullets in slow motion. Instead of bullets, I have dodged a floozy wife, unwanted children, endless fights, and tons of depression. Unfortunately, she is broken down and is begging me to take her back. So is her sister and her friends, and they've come up with the worst excuse for what actually happened. I picked up the phone, and the first thing I heard was a torn voice. I could hear she had been crying all day. She kept begging me to come back, saying there was an explanation for everything and that she loved me. She said I had misunderstood the entire situation. I told her to explain it to me right then and there. She said because I only saw a small part of the conversation, it had all been misunderstood, that I should come back home, and that I had made an irrational decision to leave. During the entire conversation, I was just giving really short, empty answers in a cold manner. After she told me it was all a misunderstanding, I told her to call me back in 10 minutes and to check Messenger. After I hung up, I sent her the entire conversation with a ton of screenshots. Not all of them, but most of the important ones. It didn't take 2 minutes for her to call back, crying hysterically, saying she was sorry for everything and that she wanted to die rather than lose me. She said she was forced by her friends and her sister to have fun one last time, and that she needed to let all the energy out before stepping into a marriage for life. I stayed silent. She confided in me about the severity of the situation. When I asked for more details, she hesitated before explaining. I need to think about it. She then told me that her sister was turning into a dangerous situation of wanting to unlive herself because of all of this. The only thing I said after she told me that was, "It's a good thing you're close to her so you can make sure she doesn't do that to herself. Maybe take her to a doctor or something." After this, I just hung up. My phone has been blowing up with messages from everyone. Initially, I wasn't planning on checking the messages, but curiosity got the better of me, and I ended up checking my messages. Most were from Melissa, my ex, but there were a bunch from Heather too. I scrolled through them quickly, not really reading, just getting a sense of the panic building in their tone. Then I saw one from Melissa that made my stomach drop. "I'm coming to find you." How would she even know where I was? I hadn't told anyone which hotel I'd checked into. I tried to calm myself down. She was bluffing. She had to be. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. It was my dad again. "Son, I think you should know Melissa is driving around looking for you. She showed up at our house completely hysterical. Your mother tried to calm her down, but she kept demanding to know where you were staying." My heart started racing. "Did you tell her?" "Of course not. We don't even know where you are." "But son, she's not in a good state. She was screaming 1 minute, crying the next. Your mother's worried she might hurt herself driving like that." "Dad, she cheated on me," I said flatly. A long pause. I figured it was something like that. "I'm sorry, son." After hanging up, I checked my messages again. The newest one from Melissa made my blood run cold. "I know you're at the Westfield Hotel. I'm coming there now." How the hell did she know? Then it hit me. Our shared credit card account. I'd used it to book the room. I called the front desk immediately and asked them not to give out any information if anyone asked for me. The clerk assured me they wouldn't. My phone buzzed with a new notification. Not a text this time. A Facebook post tag. Melissa had tagged me in a public post. "Please help. My fiancé has disappeared after a misunderstanding. He's severely depressed and I'm worried about his safety. If anyone sees him, please contact me immediately." She'd attached a recent photo of us. My jaw dropped. She was trying to make it look like I was the unstable one, like I might hurt myself. I screenshot the post before she could delete it. Within minutes, my phone exploded with messages from people I barely knew, all asking if I was okay. Our mutual friend Aiden called. "Dude, what's going on? Melissa's Facebook post has everyone freaking out. She's lying, Aiden. She cheated at her bachelorette party, I found out, and now she's trying to spin this like I'm having some kind of breakdown. Poop, man. That's messed up. Do you need anything?" Before I could answer, I heard a commotion in the hallway. A woman's voice getting louder. "Melissa, I know he's here. Room 412. Please, I need to see him." My heart pounded in my chest. I quickly told Aiden what was happening and hung up. The pounding on my door started seconds later. "Open the door. I know you're in there." I stayed completely silent, barely breathing. "Please, I'm pregnant. You can't leave me like this." My blood turned to ice. Pregnant? That was impossible. We'd always been careful, and her period had just ended last week. I knew she was lying. I heard a hotel staff member trying to calm her down, telling her she needed to leave or they'd call security. "You don't understand," she screamed. "He's my fiancé. We're getting married in 3 weeks." My phone buzzed again. A text from Heather. "She told everyone you hit her when you found out about the baby. What the hell is wrong with you?" I felt sick. I'd never laid a hand on her or any woman, ever. This was getting dangerous for me. I quickly took screenshots of everything. The texts, the Facebook post, Heather's message accusing me of violence. I sent them all to my parents and Aiden with a message. I need you to know what's happening. I never touched her. There is no baby. She cheated, and now she's trying to destroy me. Security finally got her to leave, but I could hear her screaming all the way down the hall. I called the front desk again and asked if I could change rooms. They moved me to the other side of the hotel. As I was settling into the new room, my phone dinged with an email notification. Melissa had emailed my boss. I'm worried about my fiancé's mental state. He's been acting erratically, drinking heavily, and disappeared today. He mentioned feeling overwhelmed at work lately. Could you please check on him? She was trying to mess with my job now. I forwarded the email to my personal account and called my boss immediately to explain the situation. Thankfully, he was understanding. Around midnight, the hotel phone rang. The front desk informed me that Melissa had returned, claiming a medical emergency and saying I had her medication. Security was with her, but she was threatening to call the police if they didn't let her see me. I don't have any medication of hers, I said. Please don't let her know my new room number. I couldn't sleep. Every noise in the hallway made me jump. Around 2 a.m., my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. This is Melissa's friend Jenna. She took a bunch of pills and we're at the hospital. She's asking for you. Please come. I didn't respond. 10 minutes later, another text from the same number. The doctors are pumping her stomach. She might not make it. Don't you care at all? I still didn't respond, but my hands were shaking. What if she really had hurt herself? But something felt off. I called the main hospital in our city and confirmed they had no patient by Melissa's name. Relief washed over me, followed by anger. Another lie. By morning, my social media accounts were flooded with hateful messages from people who believed I'd abandoned my pregnant fiancée in her time of need. Some even threatened me. I deactivated all my accounts. My parents called to check on me. Son, she showed up at our house again at 6 a.m. Millie, my mom said, her voice shaking. She was banging on the door, screaming that we were hiding you. Your father had to threaten to call the police before she left. After hanging up, I checked my email. There was a new message from Melissa with the subject line, proof. I opened it to find attached photos of her and me together, but they'd been edited. In the originals, we were smiling, happy. In these versions, I looked angry, and she had what appeared to be bruises on her face and arms. My hands started shaking again. She was trying to frame me for abuse. This was beyond crazy. It was dangerous. I forwarded the email to my parents and Aiden, then called a lawyer. I needed protection, and I needed it now. The lawyer, Catherine Patel, agreed to meet me at the courthouse that afternoon. As I was leaving the hotel, the receptionist handed me an envelope Melissa had left. Inside was a sonogram with today's date and Melissa's name on it, along with a note. This is your child. How can you abandon us? I knew it couldn't be real. Even if she was somehow pregnant, a sonogram this early wouldn't show much. This image showed a fully formed baby. I took it with me to show Catherine. What had started as heartbreak had turned into something much darker. I wasn't just dodging a bullet by leaving her. I was escaping someone I no longer recognized. I left the lawyer's office with a temporary restraining order. It wasn't much, just a piece of paper, but it felt like armor against the storm Melissa had become. Catherine had listened to my story with a grim expression. This is textbook escalation, she'd said, examining the fake sonogram. She's creating a false narrative to trap you. The edited photos are particularly concerning. As I walked to my rental car, my phone buzzed with a text from Aiden. He'd forwarded an email blast Melissa had sent to our entire friend group, her family, and mine. Attached was a photo of her in a hospital bed, looking pale and drawn, with an IV in her arm. The message read, I've lost our baby. The stress was too much after he abandoned me. The doctors say I may never be able to have children again. I still love him and forgive him, but I need your support right now. My stomach lurched. I called Aiden immediately. She's lying, I said. That hospital photo is from when she had her appendix out last year. Jesus Christ, Aiden exhaled. I figured it was bullpoop, but some people are buying it. Tyler and Steven are posting about how they're going to have a talk with you when they find you. Great, now I had to worry about her male friends coming after me too. I got a restraining order today, I told him, but I don't know if that's enough. She's completely unhinged. I checked my voicemail. 3 new messages. The first was from my mother, worried about the terrible things Melissa's family was saying about me. The second was from my boss, warning me that Melissa's sister had come to my office asking questions. The third made my blood run cold. It was Melissa, her voice eerily calm. I know you're listening to this. I know you think you can just walk away from me, but you can't. We're meant to be together. I've already told everyone about the baby we lost, about how the stress of your abandonment caused the miscarriage. No one will ever look at you the same way again. Come home, and we can fix this together. Otherwise, the message cut off there. I drove back to the hotel, constantly checking my rearview mirror. When I reached my room, I collapsed onto the bed, exhaustion washing over me. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number claiming to be a doctor concerned about Melissa's mental state following her miscarriage. I blocked the number and turned off my phone. When I woke up hours later, it was dark outside. I turned my phone back on to find 17 missed calls and dozens of texts. Most were from Melissa using different numbers, but there was also one from Heather that made me sit up straight. She broke into your apartment and trashed everything, destroyed all your stuff. She's completely lost it. I'm sorry for my part in all this. I never thought she'd go this far. I called Heather back immediately. Is this real? I demanded. Yes, she said quietly. I went over there to try to calm her down, and the place was destroyed. Your clothes were cut up, your electronics smashed. She even took a hammer to your guitar collection, my vintage guitars. I've been collecting them since I was 16. Some were irreplaceable. Why are you telling me this? I asked suspiciously. You encouraged her to cheat. Heather sighed. I know. I was stupid and thoughtless. I thought it was just harmless fun, that what happened at a bachelorette party stayed there. But this is different. She's scaring me. She's talking about finding you and making you pay attention to her. After hanging up, I called the police non-emergency line. They agreed to send an officer to check on my apartment, but warned me there wasn't much they could do if Melissa claimed to live there too. An hour later, an officer called back. Sir, I'm at your residence now. There's extensive damage to personal property inside. The woman who identified herself as Melissa Carter claims you did this damage during a fight before leaving. My jaw dropped. That's a lie. I haven't been back there since I left 3 days ago. Do you have any proof of your whereabouts during that time? Yes. Hotel receipts, security footage from the hotel, and witnesses who saw her trying to break into my room here. I suggest you file a formal report, the officer said. This situation appears to be escalating. After hanging up, I paced the room, trying to think. Melissa was systematically destroying my life, my reputation, my possessions, potentially even my job and freedom if people believed her abuse allegations. My phone rang again. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Hello? Is this him? The man who broke my daughter's heart and unalived my grandchild? Melissa's mother. Her voice was cold with fury. Mrs. Carter, your daughter is lying to you. There was no baby. She cheated on me at her bachelorette party, and now she's trying to manipulate everyone. How dare you? She hissed. We've seen the sonogram. We've seen the hospital reports. You're a monster, and we're going to make sure everyone knows it. That sonogram is fake, I said. Call the hospital yourself and ask if Melissa was ever admitted for a miscarriage. She hung up on me. I doubted she would actually check. My phone dinged with an email from my landlord about concerning reports of domestic disturbances and significant property damage at my apartment. Great. Now I might lose my apartment too. I checked social media using Aiden's account. Melissa had created a public page called Justice for Melissa and Angel. Apparently she'd named our fictional dead baby, where she was posting evidence of my alleged abuse and abandonment. Hundreds of people had joined, many leaving comments about what they'd like to do to me if they found me. This was getting dangerous. I needed to leave the hotel. If she tracked me me here once, she could do it again. I called Aiden and arranged to stay at his cousin Patrick's remote cabin. I checked out of the hotel, paying cash for the final night to avoid leaving an electronic trail. As I was loading my belongings into my rental car, I spotted Heather's silver Honda pulling into the parking lot. I ducked behind a pillar, watching as she went into the lobby. She must have tracked my location from our earlier phone call. I got in my car and drove away quickly, constantly checking my mirrors. Once on the highway, I pulled over and removed the battery from my phone. I'd buy a prepaid phone later. When I finally arrived at Patrick's cabin, I collapsed onto the couch, exhausted. I woke hours later to the sound of tires on gravel. Someone was coming up the driveway. I grabbed a fireplace poker and waited. A car stopped in front of the cabin. I heard footsteps on the porch, then a knock. Hello? Aiden sent me. I'm Patrick. I approached the door cautiously. Prove it, I called. Aiden said to tell you that the beer pong incident from sophomore year remains classified. I relaxed slightly and opened the door to find a tall man with a concerned expression. Aiden called me, Patrick explained. Apparently your ex is going door to door in his neighborhood, showing people your photo. He was worried she might somehow figure out you're here. How would she know about this place? I asked. Tyler's been hanging around Melissa constantly since you left. He's been to my cabin before for a fishing trip last summer. What should we do? I asked. We should leave, Patrick said firmly. I have another property about 3 hours from here, a small apartment above my workshop. No one knows about it except my girlfriend Isla. We quickly gathered my things. As we were about to leave, headlights appeared on the road leading to the cabin. We ducked down as the car slowed, passing the cabin, its headlights sweeping across the front. After what felt like an eternity, it continued down the road. We took a circuitous route to Patrick's workshop. He filled me in on what Aiden had told him. Melissa's campaign against me was gaining traction. She'd given tearful interviews to local news stations about her abusive ex-fiancé who had abandoned her after she lost their baby. She'd filed a police report claiming I had destroyed our apartment in a rage. The good news, Patrick said, is that your lawyer is fighting back. She submitted evidence of the restraining order and the hotel's security footage showing Melissa trying to break into your room. The next morning, Patrick brought me a prepaid phone. I called Catherine first. Things are getting worse, she said. Melissa has filed for an emergency protective order against you, claiming you've been stalking her. She's also claiming you emptied your joint savings account before disappearing. I froze. Our joint savings? I hadn't even thought about it. I didn't touch that money, I said. Well, someone did. The account was emptied 3 days ago. All $28,000. My mind raced. 3 days ago, the day after I left. Melissa must have taken it. That afternoon, I received an email from my boss. Melissa had come to the office again, this time with someone claiming to be her lawyer, threatening to sue the company for enabling your abusive behavior. He believed me, but warned the company might put me on administrative leave until the situation was resolved. Later that evening, Patrick burst into the apartment, his face grim. We have a problem. Melissa somehow got Isla's number and has been texting her, asking if she knows where you are. She mentioned my name specifically. How would she know about you? Tyler must have told her, and if she knows about me, she might figure out about this place eventually. Patrick arranged for me to stay at his friend Willow's bed and breakfast. It was off-season, so there were no guests. It's about 4 hours from here, he said. No one will find you there. That night, Patrick drove me to Willow's. The rural property was charming and isolated, a perfect hiding place. Willow, a kind-faced woman in her 50s, showed me to a room at the back of the house. The next morning, I received good news from Catherine. The bank confirmed Melissa had withdrawn the money from our joint account. They had security footage. Also, my landlord provided footage showing Melissa entering our apartment alone the day the damage occurred, carrying what appeared to be a hammer and scissors. That hope was short-lived. Hours later, Willow informed me that a woman was in town showing my picture around. My friend who runs the general store called to warn me. She's telling people you're her fiancé who had a mental breakdown and needs medication. She's not alone. There's a man with her. Tall, dark hair, driving a blue SUV. Tyler. He was helping Melissa hunt me down. As night fell, I sat by the window, watching the empty country road. Somewhere out there, Melissa was looking for me, determined to either force me back into a relationship or destroy me completely. My phone buzzed. A text from Willow. Someone just drove past the B&B. Blue SUV, moving slowly. They're coming back around. I grabbed my backpack and moved to the door, listening. The sound of tires on gravel grew louder, then stopped. Car doors slammed. Hello? Is anyone here? Melissa's voice. I texted Willow. They're here. What should I do? Her response came seconds later. Back door, through the kitchen. My car keys are on the hook. Take my Subaru. I'll stall them. I crept down the hallway, staying close to the wall. From the front of the house, I heard Willow greeting them. I'm sorry. We're closed for the season. No guests. We're not looking for a room, Tyler's voice. We're looking for someone. My friend's fiancé. He's not well. No one here but me and my dogs, Willow replied calmly. I reached the kitchen and spotted the keys. As I grabbed them, I heard Melissa's voice rising. I know he's here. His car is parked out back. That's my nephew's car, Willow said smoothly. He's helping me with some repairs. I slipped out the back door and into Willow's Subaru. I drove away with the lights off until I was far enough that they wouldn't see me. I called Catherine. They found me at Willow's. I had to run. I don't know where to go now. Come to my office, she said. We have security. You'll be safe here tonight, and tomorrow we're in court. This ends tomorrow. I drove through the night, jumping at every set of headlights in my rearview mirror. When I finally reached Catherine's office building, she was waiting for me at the service entrance. You look terrible, she said, ushering me inside. I feel terrible, I admitted. I haven't slept properly in days. She led me to a small conference room set up with a cot. Try to get some sleep. We have a big day tomorrow. By dawn, I felt more drained than rested. Catherine brought me coffee and a change of clothes from Aiden. The hearing is at 10 a.m. Whether Melissa shows up or not, we proceed. We arrived at the courthouse through a side entrance. My stomach dropped when I saw Melissa sitting at the other table, wearing a conservative dress, looking pale and fragile. Tyler sat behind her, along with her parents and Heather, who wouldn't meet my eyes. The judge called the court to order. We're here on 2 matters. A request for a restraining order filed by Mr. Narrator against Ms. R. Carter, and a counter request filed by Ms. Carter against Mr. Narrator. Catherine presented our case methodically, showing evidence of Melissa's escalating behavior, the false pregnancy claims, the faked bruises, the social media campaign, the stalking. Melissa's lawyer presented their counter-narrative, that I was the abuser, that I had caused her to lose our baby, that I had emptied our joint account and disappeared. When he showed the video of Melissa with her bruises, Catherine immediately objected, presenting photos from Melissa's own social media accounts posted the day after I left, showing her arms completely unmarked. The judge examined the evidence carefully. Ms. Carter, these photos directly contradict your claims of abuse. Can you explain this discrepancy? Melissa burst into tears. The bruises didn't show up right away, and I used makeup in those photos because I was embarrassed. And the pregnancy you claim to have lost. Do you have medical records confirming this? I was only a few weeks along. I had just found out. Yet you provided a sonogram showing a fully formed fetus. This is inconsistent with your timeline. Melissa's lawyer whispered something to her, but she shook him off, her composure cracking. He deserves everything that's happening to him, she suddenly shouted, pointing at me. He abandoned me. He was supposed to marry me. The judge banged her gavel. Ms. Carter, control yourself. But Melissa was beyond control. I gave him everything, and he threw it all away because of one stupid night. It wasn't even a real thing. It was just a party. The courtroom fell silent. She'd just admitted the cheating had actually happened. Her lawyer looked mortified. Her parents exchanged shocked glances. Tyler stood up and walked out of the courtroom. Ms. Carter, are you now admitting that your fiancé left you because you were unfaithful, not because he abused you? Melissa seemed to realize what she'd done. No, that's not. I mean, he twisted everything. He made me feel so guilty about one little mistake that Your Honor, Catherine interrupted. We have evidence that Ms. Carter withdrew $28,000 $100,000 from their joint savings account and deliberately damaged his property. The judge reviewed this evidence, then looked at Melissa with contempt. Ms. Carter, I am denying your petition for a restraining order against Mr. Narrator. Furthermore, I am granting his petition against you. You are to remain at least 500 feet away from him at all times. You are not to contact him by any means. I am also referring this matter to the district attorney's office for potential charges of filing false police reports, defamation, and fraud. As we left the courtroom, I felt a weight lifting. Melissa was being escorted out a different door, her parents following with shell-shocked expressions. Heather approached me cautiously. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I knew she was lying about the pregnancy and the abuse, but I didn't know how to stop her. I encouraged her that night because I thought it was just harmless fun. I never imagined it would lead to this. Outside the courthouse, a small group of Melissa's supporters had gathered. When they saw me, a few started shouting, but then Aiden stepped forward from where he'd been waiting, along with Patrick and several other friends. It's over, Aiden said. The judge granted the restraining order against Melissa. She admitted to lying about everything. The crowd murmured, some looking confused, others embarrassed. One by one, they dispersed. My parents were waiting too. My mother hugged me tightly. We never doubted you, she whispered. Not for a second. Over the next few weeks, things slowly returned to normal. The district attorney filed charges against Melissa for the false reports and stolen money. Most of our mutual friends apologized for believing her lies. My boss welcomed me back with a raise. I found a new apartment and started rebuilding my guitar collection. 2 months later, I received a text from Heather. Melissa took a plea deal today. Probation, restitution, and mandatory therapy. She's moving to Arizona to live with our aunt. I thought you should know. I showed the message to Aiden and Patrick over dinner. How do you feel about that? Aiden asked. Relieved, I said after a moment. I don't wish her ill. I just want her out of my life. To dodging bullets, Patrick said, raising his beer. To dodging bullets, I echoed. And later that night, I realized I hadn't thought about Melissa all day until that text arrived. The pain of her betrayal had faded, replaced by gratitude for what I'd escaped. Not just the cheating, but the person she'd revealed herself to be afterward. My phone buzzed with a text from Willow. My friend Patrick says you're a decent guitar player. Our little town has an open mic night every Thursday. Standing invitation if you ever want to come play. No crazy exes allowed, I promise. I smiled, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Possibility. The future stretched out before me, unwritten and full of potential. I'd survived the storm and somehow come out stronger. As I accepted Willow's invitation for next Thursday, I realized that while I hadn't gotten the life I'd planned, I might have gotten something better. A chance to build something new, with my eyes wide open this time. Some people spend their whole lives with someone who isn't who they pretend to be. I'd found out before it was too late, and for that, despite everything, I was grateful.